We'll see if they move. I mean, you saw Bill.
They're going to move.
Well, look,
they're already moving.
Hold on, Bill Ackman threatened.
No, they're not.
Hold on.
People say they're going to move all the time after elections. They don't do it.
Bill Ackman said he was going to move.
You know how many people moved out of New York City in the last 3 years? 600,000. They're moving.
Yeah, they're moving. They've been moving from COVID.
You know how many people moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know.
Under Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move. There's no doubt about that. People move in America.
It seems more and more people are packing up and moving out of Democratic-run states, and the numbers are catching everyone's attention. Many assumed these states, known for progressive values, would focus on ideas that make everyday living easier for the people who already live there. But what's actually happening paints a different picture. Recently, the host on an episode of Real Time gave his own thoughts on the exodus, and his explanation grabbed a lot of interest. His comments raised some solid points, so let's jump straight into what he had to say.
I think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida. Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue states for Florida.
He asked a direct question about why companies are shifting out of Democratic-led states and choosing Florida instead. His main point was taxes are too high, but he also made it clear it goes much deeper than that. Many businesses are struggling under heavy costs, strict rules, and expensive day-to-day operations. And it's not just companies. Everyday people are moving too. Between rising prices, tight regulations, and the growing cost of living, more families and workers feel they simply can't keep up. This trend is getting bigger, and it's something everyone should be watching closely.
This is the luckiest guy in the world that Mamdani got elected, because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mamdani announced. Okay?
Because
people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value's gone up.
Yeah, because they're moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of the city, and they can still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants.
In his report, he explained why large numbers of residents are moving out of New York City and pointed to one major trigger, the new high-earner tax plan pushed by the mayor, Eric Adams. New York City is home to many of the country's highest income earners. A big portion of national tax money, roughly 60%, comes from people in the top income bracket, many of whom live and work in states like New York. Because of this, the city's budget depends heavily on those large earnings being taxed locally. When a proposal surfaced to raise taxes again for top earners, the reaction was swift. People who already contribute the most began relocating, and that meant New York also started losing key tax income along the way. The report made a simple point. When leaders add more financial pressure to the group already paying the biggest share, departures are not surprising. They are almost guaranteed.
What people don't understand is he can't raise the taxes unless the state okays it, and the state is not going to okay it. So this is just smoke and mirrors. And the younger people voted for him.
Even if he wants a higher income tax, he can't put it in place without approval from the state government. Right now, the chances of that approval coming through are very small. The bigger concern isn't the paperwork, it's trust. During his campaign, he pushed this idea as one of his key promises, telling supporters he could deliver real change for top earner taxes. But now that the state has shown no interest in backing the plan, many are questioning whether he oversold his influence or misunderstood how the process actually works. Bottom line, the tax is unlikely to happen, and the pledge that once sounded bold now feels unfinished. Meanwhile, people who already pay the most continue moving away, some even choosing places like Florida instead.
They're moving.
Yeah, they're moving. They've been moving from COVID.
You know how many people moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know.
Under Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move. There's no doubt about that. People move in America, and you're right.
It feels like he isn't facing the facts, even though the evidence is clear. People are moving out of certain states because daily living has become too costly and too tightly controlled by government decisions. decisions. In New York, hundreds of thousands of people have already relocated as taxes continue rising and work is getting harder to sustain. The same pattern shows in California, where many families and workers left after struggling with heavy restrictions, long approval processes, and some of the highest state taxes in the country. Dismissing this as a passing moment misses the real point. This movement is driven by budgets, jobs, and basic affordability, not luck or sudden lifestyle changes. The message from those leaving is straightforward. Current state plans are making life harder, not easier. And that's something leaders can't ignore anymore.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money that they earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%. Right. So it absolutely is happening. Whether they will abandon New York in droves, I mean, Bill Ackman's a really good example. He said he was going to leave, right? He's been going after Mamdani. He spent a lot of money on him. And then the day Mamdani won, he said, I'm willing to talk and sit down and work with you.
Are reaching for explanations instead of confronting the simple reason people are moving. Everyday life in some states has become too costly and too rule-heavy. Pointing at pandemic patterns no longer fits when the movement is so one-sided. If this were just a normal reset after 2020, people would be relocating in many directions. But the trend tells a different tale. Most moves are away from high-tax, high-restriction states and toward places where life and work feel easier to manage. Like Florida, Texas, and Tennessee are gaining residents because taxes are lower, rules are simpler, neighborhoods feel safer, and the overall cost of living is more realistic for families and workers. The pattern itself is the proof. People are choosing budgets and peace of mind over political talking points, and the direction of travel makes that clear.
The working people at a certain level are going to say, I'm going to the congressman's state because there's no state tax there. There's no local tax there. I get to keep more of my money. This isn't complicated.
Well, I I've looked at moving because I'd like to keep more of my money too. And
where should Maher move?
I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not moving anywhere. No.
Not going to stay?
And the taxes here are ridiculous, but it's still Southern California.
Right.
Okay.
He may stay in California because it's home, full of history, familiar places, and personal ties that are tough to walk away from. But for many others, emotional reasons can't offset the everyday challenges. A large number of people have already moved out. Their main frustration is simple. Taxes keep climbing, but life doesn't improve. California has some of the highest state tax rates in the U.S., and people expected that kind of revenue to solve big issues. With so much money coming in, residents thought fire risks would be handled faster, roads repaired better, and housing problems tackled with real results. Instead, they see ongoing crises continue, while the public systems struggle to keep up. For many families and workers, the growing disconnect between what was promised and what's delivered has become too obvious. And that's why leaving California felt like the most practical decision.
You see today the Trump administration, they talked about the fact that California had a rule that schools cannot be required to notify parents if their kids in school have changed their gender, their pronouns. That's the kind of thing, even though it doesn't affect a lot of people, that makes a lot of people go, well, you know what? That's the party without common sense. Now, if that's your state, how are you?
Well, I just disagree with that. I mean, the law was you would be fired. A teacher would be fired if a teacher did not report or snitch on a kid talking about their gender identity. I just think that was wrong. I think teachers should teach. I don't think they should be required to turn in kids. And by the way,
we're talking about their parents. How can you snitch? The idea of a snitch and a parent to me doesn't compute.
Well,
This isn't the biggest reason people move away, but it's one that bothers a lot of parents. Many families feel uneasy about rules or statements that suggest schools should not share major student choices, like gender transition plans, with a child's parents. Most parents believe they have both the responsibility and the right to know about decisions that can change their child's life in a serious way. When they're told they might not be informed, it doesn't feel sensible to them. It also creates a bigger problem, a feeling that open communication is being replaced with silence, and that makes trust harder to maintain. For many, this issue isn't political, it's personal. It's about staying informed and being part of their child's care and guidance. While it may not be the top reason for leaving the state, it's one of the concerns pushing families to rethink whether local policies still match what they believe in.
I was on KBLA yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, who do you want to run for president? I mentioned, I think you'd be good at the job. Not this year, we know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you
Across California, frustration has grown with the direction set by the governor, Gavin Newsom. Many critics say that the issues faced in one influential state, with large budgets and significant global visibility, raise doubts about a possible national role. Because of that, a meaningful portion of voters inside the Democratic Party say they would choose a different candidate for president. Concerns fall into two buckets: results and leadership. Problems such as rising living costs, housing shortages, and ongoing community issues like homelessness have continued despite strong tax income. For many, it feels like a cycle of big announcements with limited real-world improvement. The same theme shows up in states like California and New York. Large numbers of families and companies have moved away, mostly toward states like Florida, where taxes are lower, rules are simpler, and monthly expenses feel more manageable. When millions make similar moving choices, it reflects a broader message. People prioritize job security, safety, and affordable living over political narratives. If you found this helpful, drop a like and follow. See you next time.